This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by the machine, Anthony Fowler, over Zoom. Anthony, how are you?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. Camp's nearly over, so I'm happy.
What have these final couple of days like in camp? And, how do you find it? Is it just kind of you're chomping at the bit for next week to come around? Is it a sense of frustration that there's still a bit left, or how exactly does it kind of play out?
It's all right. The training's from today. The training's going to ease down a little bit now, so it'll be a bit more sharp pads and stuff. But it's hard because you got to cut your calories a lot because we're not training as hard, and we want to eat more and we put weight on. So we've got to really cut down on the food, and that's one of the hardest bits to me because I love training, but it's hard to just limit your calories. You have a little small meal and then in an hour you starve and you're thinking, okay, now when's the next food? But it's all good, mate. It's all good.
Training throughout this pandemic, Anthony, we've been in it for about a year now with regards to lockdowns. When you reflect over your time working throughout it, has it been affected at all? Have you found it more difficult to kind of manage your workload? Has it been easier because you've just been able to focus on the gym? How have you found it?
You know what? It's quite the same as always for me, to be honest. We're allowed to train as elite athletes, so I'm just down here regardless. So when we be going out to restaurants and stuff in camp, or on the weekend and stuff, like me and my girlfriend, we go shopping. We've got a baby on the way, so stuff like that. It's affected me where when you get home, mate, the highlights of my weeks walking my dog in the park. Do you know what I mean? There's literally nothing to do with it. So that's the hardest part. But I'm just trying to stay positive, trying to stay focused, and hopefully over back to normal soon because we all need it, don't we?
I know it was your birthday yesterday, so happy birthday for yesterday, Anthony. Was you able to get up to much?
Mate, I got up in the morning, I had my lunch, I went for a walk, I had another session, I went for a walk. It went no mad 30th, but I'll make up for it when I'm allowed.
Talk to me about this fight with Fortea then, and obviously heading into it now. How much have you looked into him, and what are you expecting from him?
Mate, I think he's a really good fighter. People are funny in England because you get a foreign opponent, you automatically think he's a journeyman, which is funny. I think he's 22-2. His second fight was a world title limiter against the Russian on the Canelo Kovalev on the card. So that shows his pedigree. He's boxed at the MGM. He's a good fighter, mate. He's number 15 in the IBF. My last fight was Adam Harper, who's probably English title level. So it's a massive step up, mate. This fella's boxing for world title eliminators, so he's obviously no mug. And I think it's gonna be a good competitive fight. I'm just hoping I'm the bigger, stronger man in there, and I think that should show.
When you look at some of the surprises that have happened recently, you got Warrington Lara being the main one, Robbie Davis Jr. losing to Valenzuela. Just kind of when you see those shock results, does it kind of focus your mind back a little bit more? Because certainly for a lot of UK boxing fans, they may not know much about Jorge Fortea.
Yeah, it's funny, mate, again with the UK fans, because for example, Josh Warrington, a proven world champion, he loses, all of a sudden he's a hype job and whatever else. He can't really win. Before the fight, I moaned about Lara being not good enough, and when he wins, Josh was crap all along and stuff. It's a joke, mate. People should start giving a bit more respect to fighters, and every fight is dangerous. This fella I'm fighting, for example, he's boxing the MGM in Vegas on the Canelo undercard. What does that say? He's a good fighter, mate, and he's well skilled. He's tough. He's going to give me problems in there, and it's down to me to beat the fella and beat him well.
Another camp under the guidance of Shane McGuigan. What have you guys been working on this time around? What should everybody expect to see from you come next Saturday?
Again, just more building the last performance, just a bit more composure. I was a bit breathless at times last fight. Bit more better. I think my defense is coming on this camp. I feel as though I'm getting hit a lot less. I'm working behind my jab more. My movement improving a lot. My footwork as well. Shane's brilliant, mate. I really enjoy working with Shane. He's a world class coach and he believes in me as well, which is really important for me. So I want to be my coach proud just as much as myself.
Now, next week's going to be a busy time for Shane because obviously 3 of you guys are all fighting on the card. The headline about Lawrence Okolie. Just touch on Lawrence. What's it like to train with somebody you spent so many years with as an amateur, training up in Sheffield together? Has it kind of just continued that relationship? Does it make things easier when settling into a camp, having somebody there who you've known for so many years? Same with Luke Campbell.
Yeah, I think it would. I think I would have settled in the farm regardless because Shane's a good fella and Josh Pritchard, the boss lad. There's good people, mate. There's good people. So I would have got in anyway. But like Lawrence, he's just a funny guy. Lawrence, I've known him for years, mate. Like it just feels normal being around Lawrence. Obviously, we were on GB like what 6 years ago or something together. So we know each other really well, and it's nice to have a bit of banter in the gym. It's not always just graft, and that. We have a bit of a laugh now and again as well. So I think that's important, especially when you're like me, you're away all week on your own. Like on my last camp, I was on my own a lot. Where this time down here, it's not as bad. I am still on my own a lot, but in between sessions, the lads are in the same house as me and stuff. So we have a bit of banter now and again. It just helps a little bit.
What's it like staying in uni accommodation? And
I mean, I'll show you, lad. I'll show you, mate. Look, just pure standard kitchen, mate. Like, kitchen ain't too bad to be fair, but upstairs, all the brothers. I put on my stuff on my post yesterday because people are funny. Mate. People think I'm living some sort of glamorous lifestyle. Even my girlfriend sometimes thinks I am. I think, love, I'm in the slums here, mate. I'm in the wars. I'm sparring 12 rounds a day. I'm getting beasted with circuits, love. It's not easy.
well, what other students like? Do you have any kind of interactions with them? Do they kind of make a lot of noise when you guys are trying to sleep?
The odd time of a night I've heard them like outside my room when I go up and smash through the reds in because like they keep me up when I've got sparring in the morning. But I put this meditation stuff on the lads, just get me over it. Like sleep wave thing. So I put it on to try and overpower the students and get me head down. It works for me. Like
it must be a nightmare when they come back after a night out with a McDonald's or something.
Mate, you're up in the window, I smell weed and everything. They're all smoking spliffs outside the room. That's funny, but it ain't too bad because I do get a good kick when I need to most of the time. But you know what I mean. Students can be a bit mad, can't they? But I think with this COVID stuff, they've all got nothing to do, have they?
I was going to say that must be the one blessing of recent times that they couldn't kind of enjoy their university experiences as much, certainly in your case, rather. Yeah. But kind of just going back to Lawrence, gets ready for his first world title tilt next week. What has he been working on? What do you make of his bout with Krzysztof Glowacki?
Yeah, I think the fella, he's an old mug, mate. He's been obviously a world champion. He's only lost to Usyk and Bridus, I think. So like he's obviously boxed at a really high level. Lawrence is just super confident, but that's just his personality. But I hope he goes in there switched on me because the fella's going to start swinging some bombs over. So he's got to be ready. But I just think Lawrence is just too good. He's too big, too fresh, too young. He's got that dangerous right hand. He's got that reach. He's got that power. So I do think Lawrence will beat him, and I hope he knocks him out because it'll be amazing just to be there and watch your friend of mine become world champion. It'll be special.
And then you've got CBS, who has just had his fight announced today. What's Chris been like during camp? Has he visibly shown his frustrations that he hasn't kind of had a set opponent because he was all up in the air with Dion Juma?
Yeah, I suppose he probably has now and again. He's a really chill guy, Chris. He's a really nice fella, as you've already know yourself. He's a really nice guy, but I'm sure he's only human, and like if you get messed around a lot with fights, he's been really unlucky. He wants that British title. Obviously, Juma's got a serious injury. I think it's his eye or something, so you can't blame him either. But Chris has got a hard fight, mate. Like I looked at the kid's record he's fighting, and he boxed some Russian who's an absolute killer. I can remember him as an amateur, Igorov, something his name was, and like he was knocking everyone out. And he went 10 rounds to this kid, and like the kid won a few rounds, so he's gonna be a hard fight, mate. Like people again, because he's a foreigner, his record isn't great, but he's been matched really hard, and I think it's gonna be like a bit of a tough fight for Chris, as long as Chris sticks behind his boxing and make it easy. But if he gets thrown to a fight with this fella, the fella's gonna be game as.
Just moving away from your gym, just want to get your thoughts on a few other fighters. One man I want to touch on is Jordan Gill, somebody you know well from your time training with him up in Rotherham. He's gone from strength to strength recently. He's put in some very impressive performances. For you yourself to see his growth, his development, and especially seeing him bounce back from that Tinoco defeat, how would you assess this kind of past year and a half of his career?
It's brilliant. I actually text David and he said, mate, Jordan box brilliant there. He looked really disciplined, really fit, strong. Skills as we know he's got, and he showed a lot more against Tinoco. He got caught these times and I panicked a little bit, where this time he didn't. He just rode out the storm and just kept boxing, kept chipping away, and he boxed brilliant. And Jordan's one of the hardest working kids I've ever met. He's like really dedicated. Just like myself, he lives away from home. It's really hard, mate. And Jordan's done it for a long time, and he had a bad patch in his career, and he didn't give up. he's kept going, mate, and he's getting the rewards. He's number 5 in the world now with WBA, so he's moving right up there. So I'm really happy for him, mate, and he's a lovely kid, Jordan. I wish him all the best.
Another man I want to touch on is Josh Kelly, somebody you know from your days at GB. He unfortunately suffered his first career defeat to David Avanesian recently. Just kind of go into that. What did you make of it?
Yeah, he started off great, Josh. He looked really sharp early on. I thought he was going to do it, but it was always going to be hard from down the stretch. And I was surprised he didn't get past the 6th round. I thought he would have tried it a bit later and had a bit more resilience as it got tough in there. He went down quite easy, but obviously that he's proven world class. I think Josh had something like 12, 13 fights, so it was a massive step up for him, and big respect to him taking the fight, but it was just a bit too soon for him. I think he needs to rebuild.
One thing people have kind of spoken about since then is kind of if Josh should move up, if he's too big for welterweight. You know him from GB, you'd have known kind of how he would have made weight and what have you. Looking at him as a pro, do you think he needs to move up and welterweight wasn't maybe his right weight?
It depends though, because obviously he's struggling to hit the welterweight. That obviously he couldn't keep him off, where at my weight again we're bigger and stronger again. Like I've sparred Avanesian, and he's not the biggest puncher. He's just a good pressure fighter, where at my weight we do it harder and stuff. And now obviously Josh has got the skills with the early rounds, but when you're getting constant pressure by someone like myself or someone similar size to me and similar strength, it's going to be hard for him again. So depends. He could go off to the drawing board, get a little bit fitter, pace himself a little bit more. I think in that fight he started off a bit too fast, and he was throwing off flashy combos. He was looking great, but probably exerting too much energy. He probably needs to settle down a little bit early on, pick the shots a bit more, conserve more energy. So it's down to him. He knows himself, and I know from as an amateur, he struggled with the weight to make welterweight. He used to like balloon right up. Like we boxed in the Olympics together, I was 75 and he was 69, and then after we both lost, we both were eating all kinds of mackies, getting bladdered, just doing all mad stuff. And then after a few days, he was heavier than me, which is crazy, because I was 6 kilo heavier than him. I put on like a kilo or 2 kilo on. He put like 7, 8 kilo on in a few days. You know what I mean? So he has got that type of body where he balloons right up. But in terms of like power for the light middleweight division, he might struggle with the like power shots.
Final fight, well, one of 2 final fights. Just trying to get your thoughts on Cheeseman Metcalf. I'm sure it's one you'll be keeping a close eye on. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a really intriguing fight, because Metcalf hasn't yet that crunch test yet. He looked really good in his fights. He boxed really well against Jason Wellborn. I watched him box, I think Damien Jones, he boxed really well. So he does step up, Metcalf, when he gets put against it. He steps up and he performs well. But Cheeseman's a bit more tried and tested. He's had 10, 12 rounders with Sam Egginton. He's boxed Garcia, Fitzgerald. He's a bit more seasoned, and he's a bit younger as well. So it's a really interesting fight. Like, I'm backing Metcalf. I hope Metcalf wins, and if he does, it's a massive fight for me and him in Liverpool. And I'm sure he'd be up for it as well, because people always ask me, people always ask him. It'd be massive for the city, and hopefully with the fans back, it'll happen. But just have to see what happens. It's a very intriguing fight though, and I think it'll be close, but I think Metcalf comes through.
If JJ was to win that fight, and you say, like you say there, it could be massive for Liverpool, do you think a bout between you and him could headline a show in Liverpool? Yeah,
easy. I think even me and Cheeseman wouldn't be as big, but that could probably headline, same as me and Fitzgerald. It's a good division, do you know what I mean? There's fights to be made that the fans are up for, the fans are game for it, do you know what I mean? And he gets a good undercard, and that will sell out, I think, in my opinion. But Metcalf as well, which I've noticed, he's got a really high ranking with the IBF. So if he wins this fight, Cheeseman's highly ranked. You might want to push on for a world title later, but it depends what he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. I think he's about 32, 33, so you might want to push on. But I think the fight with myself would be too big for him to knock back. I think he'd be up for it. But again, I'm still posted by Fitzgerald again for the 100th time in the summer. So if me and Fitzgerald doesn't happen, I'd love the Metcalf fight if he's up for it.
And then final one, just trying to get your thoughts on, and Billy Joe Saunders looks to overcome the pound for pound king in boxing, Saul Canelo Alvarez, in May. Your thoughts, Anthony? Is he the man who can beat him?
I don't think he is, to be honest. I'd love him to, because he's one of us, and he's British, and he's funny, and everyone likes him. But I don't think anyone's beating Canelo at that weight. If being honest, I just think he's just so effective at what he does. His defense, his movement, his pressure. the judges are all obviously watching Canelo. It's a Canelo show, so for him to actually beat him, you have to beat him really well, which I don't think he's going to do. I think Billy Joe Saunders could be better at middleweight, in my opinion. I think he's really quick, and I don't think he's got the power at super middleweight to bother someone like Canelo. That's the main thing, the power. He's got the skills, but he's going to have to hair Canelo and get his respect. If not, Canelo will just keep walking down and banging the body, and he'll try and wear him down. But that Canelo's, he's unbelievable. Like I've watched his last few fights, and he's improving all the time.
Right, Ant, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. But I'm going to leave a final word to yourself, for your fans, your followers, for everyone who will tune in and watch you next week and continue to follow your journey for the rest of this year. What would you like to say to them?
Just thanks to everyone for supporting me, mate. It means a lot. Like when you're away, like myself down here, you're own, like you go on Twitter, you read some nice comments. It gives you a little boost. Obviously, you get the odd dickhead in there, but the majority of the two together are really positive, and like it means a lot. And like, one sec. It's like cut me off there. And yeah, I just work me out. I'm down here. I'm working my ass off. I'm doing my very best to achieve what I can. I want to just achieve what I can in the sport. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to piss no one off or come across wrong. I want to work hard, win my fights, keep pushing on and see how far I can get in the sport. And then when it's all over, I just want to say, you know what, I've done my best, and that'll be enough for me.
All right, and like I say, we'll leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that you've got a birthday cake ready for after your fight.
I don't mind this top, mate, because you were skipping me before it started, lad. So I don't mind this.
I think it's too late now, mate. You should have done it beforehand.
I was hard the whole interview like that. So.
Right, mate. Obviously, best of luck next week. I'll catch up with you after it. Thank you, Speed Boxing Social.
See you later, mate. Pleasure.